Hi, Toby.
Hello. You alright?
We'll get the ball rolling then. Well, first of all, one that got away, I suppose, you'd sum up on New Year's Day.
Yeah, obviously I spoke about it after the game. I've obviously watched it. I've not changed my mind too much. You've got to turn your pressure and your opportunities into points, and if you don't manifest themselves on the scoreboard, you leave yourself vulnerable to the sucker punch, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, because it wasn't, that second quarter especially, where you had a lot of possession, territory, knocking on the door, just not quite finishing it off.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're over the line 3 times, so you've got, as I said, you've got to turn it into points. You're against quality opposition, are always going to have purple patches as well. And they did that. I thought they came out in the second half, as you'd expect, really, really well. And we didn't deal with that first period of the second half very well. And then it became an arm wrestle. And we didn't have enough.
How much of a setback is that, or in the grand scheme of things? Because you were building momentum. You won against Munster, obviously, a while ago now. Ulster, after the Connacht result, and you came back strongly in the second half against Sale as well. Yeah,
we've we pride ourselves often on how we finish games actually, and that's really, really disappointing from that point of view. Momentum you talk about, obviously momentum's critical in sport. It's been a very not straightforward, not difficult season so far because of all the breaks and interruptions that have been in it. So momentum is even harder to get, both physical momentum, scoreboard momentum, result momentum, emotional momentum. It's all part of a performance. So this it felt like we hadn't played for a long time, and we hadn't. So there's an element of being rusty. I don't think from a momentum point of view in a player's world is necessarily the same thing as what it is from a results point of view, because we've had sort of 6 weeks or whatever between different fixtures or different types of fixtures with Europe and whatever. So it's difficult. We just need to get back on the horse this week and put our best foot forward.
You've obviously had COVID issues yourselves last month. How are you at the moment in terms of health wise?
Yeah, we're okay. We've got a pretty big injury account, but from a new COVID perspective, we've got nothing new, which is great.
Which is a rarity, unfortunately, these days, given the derby games that have been called off over the Christmas period. You mentioned a tough time. It's as if we are rewinding the clock 12 months.
From a COVID point of view, or just from a mood point of view?
Well, and your point of view, everyone. Really.
Yeah, it's that's the importance of trying to get back to normality, I think. To have sport in its normal, spectator-driven way, and the closer we can get back to that normality, the better it feels for everyone. It's we're in the deep midwinter, and things seem a little bit more tough for everybody. But we're going to aim to try and put smiles on people's faces as soon as we can.
Yeah. And with Alan Wynne, we know it's a long-term injury, which Wayne Pivac has said he's unlikely to feature in the Six Nations. Looking further ahead, he was on a single-year contract. Are you hopeful that he'll continue at the Ospreys and still be an Ospreys player next year?
Yeah. I have nothing in my inbox to tell me otherwise, and the conversations that I've had nothing to think that it's going to be anything but that.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the game last week against the Scarlets, and their bench clearly made a difference.
Massive.
I know you had a lot of injury problems, etc. You said in the post-match interview you were down to 26 players, I think it was. Would you hope, there's a lot of transfer activity, 11 or 12 junctions down the M4 seemingly. Would you hope, to perhaps look to strengthen the squad at some point in the coming months?
Yeah, for sure. We're still looking for it's raining outside and it was sunny earlier, so I'm looking for the rainbow to see where that pot of gold is at the end of it, for sure. But no, I think one of the challenges, especially in the effect of COVID on business and finance, is being as strategic as you can be from a recruitment point of view. And the challenge for all organisations, not just the Ospreys, is to maintain that ambition, and the ambition manifests itself by trying to improve your squad each time. That's becoming more and more difficult to do for the reasons that I've just mentioned. But our aim is always will be to strengthen our squad by 2 or 3 people each year to make us more competitive and get us further towards the summit of the table.
Have you been pleased with Rhys's attitude as well? He seems to really knuckle down, and he was he's been left out by Wales for a while, and yet he really seems to be giving a lot to the region, and he seems to be thriving in the captaincy role as well.
Yeah, I think that Webby's very passionate about playing for Wales, for sure, and that's the reason he came back, I'm told. So and that was instrumental in doing that, and he knows that his best way of getting in there and continuing to put his hand up is to play well for us. I think giving him an extra level of responsibility has certainly helped that, and given him a good focus point. And he leads by example from an effort point of view, that's for sure. So we're pleased to have him, as you know, and he's a real competitor, and we want to be really competitive a team, so it makes sense that he does that.
And what are you expecting? Last question really from me, from Glasgow this weekend.
Well, I know Danny well. I've known him a long time. I know what his teams are about. They're quite. They've recruited exceptionally well. They've got some from the last time we've played them. I know he's had COVID issues, hasn't played for a while. He's got all his excuses in first with me. So no, he's a good friend of mine, and his teams are all very, very well prepared. We know that they maul well. We know that they're well organised, and they're the team that statistically hold the ball more than anybody else. So it's going to be an arm wrestle to get it off them. So, but we're looking forward to the challenge. We're looking forward to that challenge, and hopefully on a pitch that at least is going to be good underfoot, it gets a chance for 2 teams to go for it, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Good stuff. Hope it goes well for you up there.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Mark. Thanks.
Oh, Toby, just a couple more if that's okay. I gather we're speaking to Will Griffiths after you, so everybody's looking for powerful second rows, aren't they? You seem to be doing a pretty good job of developing them. What do you think the key is to that, and just having someone like Alan Wynne in the environment, is that part of the reason why you seem to have Adam Beard's still quite young, but you've got a couple of quite good other ones coming through too? Yeah, well, obviously when you contribute so many second rows to an international programme, you obviously need a lot, so that's the first thing, is a need, and that's why growing our own is really important. Bringing young talent like Jack Regan, for example, with potential, that potential is good, and we've got a nice balance with, as you say, Alan and Brad Davis, who probably brings a lot of expertise into the dark art side of things. So look, we're certainly really pleased with the quality we have in that area. It's one of those positions that you can't do without, because it's a very power orientated position. And look, if they're getting coached on the field by the coaches and by their peers, in the changing rooms and in the moment, then if they've got the talent, and they've got the effort, their potential gets reached quickly. So yeah, it's exciting for us because those boys that we've mentioned can't play forever, and we need to get the next lot through. Also, just speaking to Di a couple of hours ago, like yourself, a vast amount of experience both sides of the bridge. He was saying this is actually the toughest period he's been through as a coach, because they're having to reselect sides every week depending on who's got COVID. They're preparing for games that don't happen. They're not quite sure what's happening around. Is this period actually harder even than the last couple of years have been? Because there seems to be even more uncertainty at the moment than ever.
It's the hardest that I've witnessed, for sure. I'd agree with Di 100%. You know, being in professional sport requires resilience, for sure. And of course, you know, we have to lead by example, and you know, they take the lead from us. So, but that's been tested. I think we've had personal tragedy in our group as well, which has been emotionally draining, and lots of change. We grow, or we live in a world that's the rugby world that we is very much formulaic and schedule driven. So it's almost like a crutch, if you like, an emotional crutch to sort of organise our worlds around, if you like, and that is changing on an hourly basis. I mean, the team changed 4 times in 4 hours last week. So, and then the knock-on, the ripple effect from that is, so does the training, so does what we can do, with who. We can't competitively train. How are we going to do that? So, you're just basically in survival mode for quite a bit. But, you know, we still turned out a lot of good stuff. You know, we were 2 minutes away from winning, and you know, we'll do exactly the same that we do. We just have to roll our sleeves up and get on with it. But yeah, it's certainly been tough, for sure.